Welcome to Jog On, running you through to geography success. This small episode focuses on tectonics. Within this little video, you're going to be looking at just a few things you could do maybe to help your revision. So, what we're going to do is going to go through a small little booklet which hopefully you will have access to, but even if you don't, it's available on the VLE. So, starting off at the early part of the topic, one thing you could do to help you revise is state 3 pieces of evidence that support the theory of plate tectonics. So you could go through and think about the different things that show that it exists. So for example, it might be the evidence of Pangea, it might be rocks and fossils, or it might be to do with paleomagnetism. Another key thing that you could do, which may help you later on with the types of plate boundaries, is to learn the names of the 7 major tectonic plates. Another key skill is to be able to learn and describe the 2 types of crust and to define the word lithosphere. Another key skill is knowing and understanding the different types of plate boundary. So what you might want to do is draw a diagram or get a copy of the different types of plate margins and actually consider what is happening there. And maybe using named examples, describe the processes, maybe in the way of a flowchart. As the topic progresses, you have to start looking at hazards. One hazard at which we look at is a volcanic eruption. We will be doing case studies which you will hopefully have further information of in your folders. So what do you have to learn? First of all, you have to know what causes it. You have to know the effects and you have to know the responses. So for example, we might be looking at Montserrat. When we're doing that, we'll be looking at which plates move together, we'll be looking at the immediate aftermath of the disaster and then how people responded. So for example, things like evacuation. The sort of thing you could do to help you is use things like, with the aid of the sources on the previous page, describe and explain 4 hazards associated with volcanic eruptions. One thing which isn't totally on our syllabus but is a useful comparison is understanding the difference between shield and composite cone volcanoes. It always comes in handy that you can recall the differences between the 2. Knowing the different parts of volcanoes and earthquakes is really important. So for example, being able to define the terms caldera, pyroclastic flow, viscous, seismic waves, focus, Mercalli scale and tephra. Something that might help you practice is, for example, using the diagram in the top right hand corner, describe one secondary hazard associated with seismic activity. If you can see the subtle hint, it's a tsunami. Another thing which you could do is maybe work your way through this missing words task, completing the paragraph at the bottom of the page using the words at the top. This is helping you learn about earthquakes. So for example, focusing on focus, epicenter, friction, pressure, seismic waves, faults and seismometers. There are a host of examples out there. We will be doing 1 or 2 in detail, however, these might be handy ones to remember. Montserrat in 1995, Haiti in 2010, the ever famous Mount St Helens in 1980, those are all for volcanoes, and for earthquakes, Christchurch in 2010, Pakistan in 2005, and the most recent, the Japan tsunami of 2011. So, practice questions. This will be probably worth 10 marks. You could describe and explain the causes, impacts and responses to 2 tectonic events that you have studied. Another thing you can often do to help you revise is to create a concept map. So for example, bringing the links between the 4 pictures that are on there. The same could be done with these 4 images. Another thing, which is key part of the topic, is the management and perception of hazards. So for example, looking at either volcanoes or earthquakes, you could look at how people prepare, their immediate response and long-term response. Thank you again for watching.